So the Pixel 10 comes out in exactly 2 weeks, and as someone who has used every single Pixel in 2025, I'm very excited about the Pixel 10 series. But beyond that, I have some expectations. So the Pixel 9 was the first time the Pixel series really crossed over into premium territory. The phones looked premium, they felt premium, and they worked like premium smartphones. But even with that, it still didn't quite reach that level that Samsung and Apple are currently in. There were shortcomings, and if the Pixel 10 is going to close that gap, there are 5 things Google needs to do to maintain that level. And the first is performance. Now, we all know that when it comes to performance, the Pixel phones aren't exactly the best of the best. But I will say, the Pixel 9 series gave us some of the most consistent and reliable performance in the last couple of years. So the thing is, ever since Google switched from Snapdragon to Tensor, there's always been something wrong every single year. Sometimes it's the battery life, or it's connectivity issues, or it's the shutter lag with the camera, or it just gets hot unexpectedly. But with the Pixel 9, we've got something very reliable that we haven't seen in a while, especially after the first wave of software updates. Now, in the first few months, I had those weird issues that I talked about. Occasionally, I would get connectivity issues, or my voice fades in and out while recording a voice note on WhatsApp. But then there was an update that just fixed everything, and I'm not sure how it did, but it did it at the end of the day. And since then, it's been very reliable. However, reliability for a flagship phone is different from reliability from a mid-range phone. So for a flagship phone, you expect seamless switching between applications, you expect smooth scrolling, you expect great multitasking, and you definitely expect your phone to do all the typical things that you usually do. The Pixel 9 series is good in those areas, but you also expect a flagship phone to maintain efficiency and a cool temperature when tasks get intensive. You expect to play mobile games on your phone for a significant period of time without lagging or any sort of throttling, and you expect it to upload large files on social media without any issues. Well, that's where the Pixel kind of disappoints me. So the Tensor chip doesn't have sufficient raw power and efficiency to take Pixel phones to the next level. But despite that, I still think switching to Tensor was a great idea. It allowed Google to optimize the AI capabilities of their Pixel phones, and it's evident because for the past couple of years, Google really has been ahead in this AI battle in the smartphone world. And they've also been dictating that battle too. Now, the growing adoption of Gemini as the official AI assistant and the tailoring of features to fit whatever is on the Pixel are a testament to Google's effectiveness. So if Google is able to make Tensor as powerful and efficient as it needs to be, then we need to have that conversation between Google, Apple, and Samsung. But until then, I'm just hoping the change from Samsung to TSMC will make the Tensor G5 much better than the Tensor G4. And speaking of better, the next thing Google needs to do to bridge that gap between Samsung, Google, and Apple is to make the battery and charging so much better. So this is the Pixel 9 Pro XL. It has 5,060 mAh of battery, which is bigger than the batteries on the S25 Ultra and the iPhone 16 Pro Max. Yet, it has the worst battery performance amongst these 3 phones. And the primary reason for that, in my opinion, is Tensor, which we just finished talking about. So Tensor's power management is not as good as it should be because it's built on a fabrication process that isn't thermally efficient or power optimized. So the switch to TSMC should maximize the battery problem because Snapdragon and the iPhone's 8 Bionic chips are also manufactured by TSMC. So something else about the Pixel's battery that needs to also improve is the charging speed. You now have phones with bigger batteries that can charge from 0 to 100% in the same time it takes the Pixel to hit about 50 to 60%. And even though I don't expect the Pixel 10 to reach those levels yet, I'm hoping all the phones in the series can charge from 0 to 100 in an hour or less. I think that should be a baseline for a premium phone in 2025. An hour or less. You never know. Now, the third thing Google needs to do to bridge that gap is to focus on their base model. So this is the Pixel 9. It has everything you want in a smartphone except the display doesn't have an LTPO panel. And yes, this is kind of a funny one. It is still kind of shocking that Google isn't looking at the base model as it should be. As far as I'm concerned, LTPO technology should be on all the phones they bring out every single year. It allows the phone to save power by adjusting its refresh rate when the maximum refresh rate isn't needed. So for $800 USD to not have LTPO panels in 2025, it's kind of criminal, and that's something that needs to change. And if you're still watching this video, I need you guys to subscribe to the channel. The goal for the year is 50,000 subs, and I'm getting there closer and closer. So subscribe, like this video, and share this video with your friends. It helps me a lot, so thank you. Another change I want to see on the Pixel 10 series is an improvement to its video camera. Now, if you've watched any of my Pixel videos, you already know I love the cameras on this phone. I believe it has the best image processing software in the world, especially in the smartphone industry. It maintains warmth, skin tone, and overall look of the image processing is usually pretty close to the real object, like my face, for example. And coupled with the fact that Pixel's camera hardware has improved a lot recently, you get a camera's performance that delivers in daylight and low light conditions. But somehow that doesn't translate to video. Now, one thing that I've noticed is the inconsistency in dynamic range. You also don't get clear contrast you get in pictures. Now, in videos, shadows lose details easily and bright areas are not nearly as vibrant as they should be. The processing is limited due to the computational demand of video processing. Now, you can't really overstate the importance of great chips, which is why Samsung has leaned to Snapdragon chips on their flagship phones instead of Exynos. And this limitation gets more and more obvious when you start doing intense shooting like 4K or 8K conversions when you want to use video boost. Now, the quality just completely wears out after a while. Now, another thing they need to add is log video. Apple added that with the iPhone 15 Pro Max, if I'm not mistaken, and Samsung just joined them with the S25 Ultra. This is one of the best ways to shoot video in my humble opinion. You can use it to color correct, color grade, and add as many colors in your video as you want. This is one of the best ways to shoot video, and I think the Pixel 10 it should definitely have that and not be left behind. Now, the last thing Google needs to do to bridge that gap is pricing. And I know what you're thinking. Is he really about to tell Google to cut the price after listing things they need to add or improve? Well, that's exactly what I'm going to do. So you see, Google has a 4% market share in the US and just over 1% in the global smartphone market. And while that's not bad because the Pixel is relatively new, it's still way below where you'd expect a Google smartphone to be, considering it's a Google smartphone. So I think they badly need a competitive edge. And one of the best ways to gain that edge is to make the phone as competitive as possible at a lesser price point. There are already rumors that the Pixel 10 Pro XL will launch at $1,300 USD, which is a $100 increase from the Pixel 9 Pro XL. I don't really think that's the move. Even if we're getting incredible improvements on the Pixel 10 Pro XL, I still think Google at least should maintain last year's price. But I guess we'll still find out in the next 2 weeks. Ultimately, the Pixel phones have come a very long way. Many things about the Pixel 9 series are flagship level, which wasn't true for previous phones when you think about the Pixel 8, the 7, and even the 6. But there are still things Google needs to improve to get this phone to the level they should be at, especially when you think about the performance. And the Pixel 10 then comes out this month in a few weeks with a renewed version of Tensor that is built by a manufacturer that ditches Samsung's custom design for an in-house design. So I'm excited to see what they have on the Pixel 10, and if you love Pixel phones, you should definitely be excited too. What changes or features do you want to see on the Pixel 10? Let me know down in the comments. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like this video, as this is one of the best ways to help me out. Thank you guys for watching this video. My name is KJ, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.